All right, so today we're going to tackle a huge cornerstone of electronics, Ohm's law. But here's the thing, let's just forget the dry, complicated equations for a minute. Instead, we're going to explore it as a simple story, a story of push, flow, and friction.
So, to really wrap our heads around this, just imagine something with me for a second. What if electricity wasn't just this invisible energy, but a story? A story playing out all around us, with its own cast of characters. Who are these characters, and what are their jobs? Okay, so in the story of any circuit, you basically got three main players. These are the fundamental forces whose interactions are powering literally everything, from the light bulb over your head to the phone in your hand. So you ready? Let's meet them.
First up, we've got voltage. I want you to think of voltage as kind of the coach, the motivator. It's the push. It's the force that gets the whole game started, shoving those electrons along the path. Without that push from voltage, nothing moves. Period.
Okay, next on the scene is current. Now, if voltage is the push, then current, well, that's the actual flow. It's the stream of electric charges that are actually moving through the wire. It's the character that's being pushed around. And that brings us to our third and maybe most interesting character, resistance. Yeah, you can think of resistance as the friction, the obstacle, the thing that gets in the way. It's the force that opposes that flow and tries to slow everything down, and every material has at least a little bit of this natural pushback.
Okay, so let's put this all together and give these guys some names to make it stick. We've got Mr. Volt, who's providing that all-important push, and he's pushing our guy Mr. Ampere, our flowing current. But poor Mr. Ampere's journey, it's always a little tough, because he's got Mr. Ohm, who stands for resistance, getting in his way and trying to slow him down. This whole interaction, right there, that's the heart of the story.
So you see, these three are in this constant dance, right? A push from Mr. Volt, a flow from Mr. Ampere's, and a little bit of a break from Mr. Ohm. But how exactly do they affect each other? Let's dive into that.
And the cool thing is, their relationship is totally predictable. The more push you get from Mr. Volt, the faster Mr. Ampere is going to flow. It's really that simple. More push, you get more flow. But, and this is the important part, the stronger that friction for Mr. Ohm is, the slower Mr. Ampere is going to move, even if the push is exactly the same.
So this whole story we've been telling, this predictable relationship, it's not just some cute analogy I made up. No way. It's an actual, for real, physical law. And it's named after the person who first figured out the rulebook our characters have to play by. And that man was a German physicist named George Ohm. He's the guy who looked at all this and realized, hey, wait a minute, this relationship between the push, the flow, and the friction, it's not random at all. He saw that it was a consistent, predictable, and mathematically linked system. He basically figured out the script to our whole story.
All right, so Mr. Volt's push can be pretty steady, right? But Mr. Ohm, our resistance character, he's a bit more complex. His strength, that is, the amount of resistance, isn't always the same. It actually changes depending on the situation he's in. So let's take a closer look at what makes him stronger or weaker.
First off, the material itself is a huge deal. In stuff like copper, which we call a good conductor, it's super easy for Mr. Ampere to just cruise on through. Mr. Ohm is really weak in there. But in something like rubber, oh man, Mr. Ohm is like a brick wall. It's incredibly difficult to pass through, which means he's extremely strong. Okay, next up is the width of the path. Just picture Mr. Ampere trying to run down a hallway. If it's a wide, open hallway, no problem, right? He can just zoom through. But a narrow, crowded hallway, that creates a bottleneck and makes it way harder to get through. So, bottom line, a wider wire means way less resistance.
And last but not least, there's the length of the journey. A short sprint, easy peasy. A full-on marathon, that's exhausting. It's the same idea here. The longer the wire, the more time and distance Mr. Ohm has to wear down our friend Mr. Ampere. So, a longer wire always means higher resistance.
Okay, so now that we know our characters, we know how they act, we can finally look at the math. But please, don't get scared off by some formula. It's not like that. Think of it more like the secret code, the one simple line that describes this entire story we've been telling.
And here it is. The secret code is actually more like a simple toolbox. The beautiful part is, if you know any two of our characters, you can always figure out the third. Need to find the voltage, the push? Just multiply the current times the resistance. Want to figure out the flow, the current?
Just take the push, the voltage, and divide it by the friction, the resistance. And finally, to find that friction, the resistance, you just divide the voltage by the current. See? They're all connected. And this is the rule book for their whole story.
And there you have it. That's the story of Mr. Volt, Mr. Ampere, and Mr. Ohm. From a dimmer switch on your wall, which is just changing the resistance, to your phone charger that carefully manages the voltage, this simple story is playing out constantly all around you. So the real question is, now that you know the rules of the game, where are you going to see it in action next?